infrastructure is a disaster. And no one can really do anything about it. I think it's even beyond the help of, better children. It's just getting worse. It's getting worse and worse. Having to go through the whole rigmarole of the airport, and you do everything you can to speed it up. They give you clear, Have you? How many people have clear? Was he nice to you?
He was awesome. I absolutely love him. He's fun. He was great. He allowed me to get engaged for the second time on his stage.
Oh wow.
That happened. But anytime I've gotten engaged on stage, that ended up not becoming a good engagement.
Not working out. Yeah.
No.
The guy kind of tutoring your kids sounds like a much better husband. Yeah. Being there for Halloween was kind of cool. I was out on Long Island, so it was the suburbs. So that was kind of nice, because I did get to see a lot of suburban families in nice neighborhoods taking their kids around. But I did have to go into the city a couple of times, and woof.
New construction options.
The flooding, that was a big thing. That was happening right when I got there.
Training.
Nothing better than coming into LaGuardia, looking out the window at the big city.
Moving.
And it's like you're flying into Gotham. It's gray and rainy and wet and windy, and it just seems like that's every single time I come into New York. No sunny day, no nice weather. I got my coat on, and it's just miserable. And then, you find out what's happening down there on the streets below, and it's business as usual. Flooding. There was. I don't even know what it was. I don't think it was a nor'easter. It certainly wasn't a hurricane. And when those things are approaching New York for a week before, you'll hear the weather guy talking about, prepare, get out there and buy your bottled water and bread and eggs and that happy bit. But
Destination Commander?
Nothing.
Outstanding.
No one really talked about this like it was a storm that was going to cause any problems until the last minute. And I think it caught a lot of people with their pants
Unit
down.
reporting. High speed,
And it was a
low
mess.
drag.
Training.
I mean, a disastrous mess. The subways flooded. The streets were flooded.
Good to go.
I guess a couple of people died. One guy died in Crown Heights. He drowned inside his flooded basement,
Vehicle ready.
trying to get his dog. A
Patrol miner
noble
reporting
effort.
for duty. You'll get the
But,
cash in a flash.
You got those
Destination
basement
Commander?
apartments
Securing
in New York
position.
City. They're going to flood.
Unit
You might
reporting.
want to take some early
Yes, sir. Ready to
precautions.
roll.
And I don't think they flood immediately.
Unit reporting.
I never get that with people. If something doesn't happen immediately, but they just kind of sit there and wait for it to get really, really bad. But I don't know the circumstances. Just a terrible story there. And like I said, business as usual. This has been New York for so long. The infrastructure is a disaster. And no one can really do anything about it. I think it's even beyond the help of, for lack of a better term, the leadership. Right. Your governors and mayors and senators and Congress people. I think it's beyond
Battle control,
that.
battle control, battle
You-
control,
the
battle
and
control,
any
battle
other
control, battle
any
control.
other system in a city that is over 100, some of it way over 100 years old, should just be in a museum. And this is part of the New York City infrastructure.
Building.
Sewers that are well over 100 years old. And,
Construction complete.
they're kind of crumbling, coming
New
apart at the
construction
seams.
options.
And they have been for a while.
Construction complete.
And this isn't new. We've seen
Training.
these stories happen
New
for many
construction
years.
options.
You know the roads
Need
that
a
are
repair?
going to be flooded.
Yes, sir.
Building.
And, you know,
Yes,
that
sir. I have the tools.
Unit
I won't
on
be
the
late.
east side,
Construction
the
complete.
FDR Drive, good
Engineering.
luck.
Unit ready.
I was taking an Uber and was
I've
supposed
got
to
the
go up the
knowledge.
FDR.
Got
and
the
it's
plans
just
right
like,
here.
Very flooded, very
Construction
flooded, my
complete.
friend. Like, yeah, you know what you're doing. What am I? What am I? Your GPS? Your Waze? Your Google Map? Figure it out.
Acquiring additional resources.
I love when they ask me. I know my way around, but you're the guy. That's part of your job. Drive me where I want to get without driving us
Good
into
day,
a
Commander.
lake or taking,
Mining.
you know, an inordinate amount of time. But
Building.
yeah, it was all flooded. The same street, so it's not like it's surprise mayor, surprise
Construction
governor,
complete.
surprise congressman
Unit ready.
or senator.
Training.
It's the same places in the same
ready.
city. And they talk about how it's got to be
Ready to
taken
roll.
care of. We
Construction
need this and that. Well,
Unit ready.
it does not get taken
Cannot
care of.
deploy here.
And, you know,
Insufficient funds.
the Democrats have been in
24/7.
charge
Mining.
of New York
Yes, sir.
City for at least
Destination
11
commander
years.
reporting. I have the tools.
You know,
Analyzing
Bloomberg was,
schematics.
what, independent?
Ready to roll. Bound forward.
But, you know, the
Engineering.
Democrats have been in charge,
Studying
and we just see
blueprints.
this happen again and again and again.
Unit
Nothing
ready.
gets
Squared
fixed.
away, sir.
Oil
And then you have, you know,
Acquiring
the savior of New York City,
Yes, sir.
Zorn
Unit
Memdani,
reporting. Destination
talking
commander.
about
Chronominer reporting for duty, Commander.
$700
On
million
our way, sir.
for free buses. That
Oil
would-
refinery
Can do.
captured.
that
Right,
deserves
right.
like a smack
Moving
in the
out.
head.
Unit ready.
I'm gonna make buses
On the mark,
fast
sir.
and free.
Unit ready.
It'll be $700 million, but I'm gonna tax the.
Building.
Ow!
Unit ready.
Get your head
hello,
on
sir.
straight. What are you talking about?
Mining.
Construction complete.
Did you see the flooding in the city?
24/7.
Yeah, but free buses.
Unit ready.
We need
Squared
infrastructure.
away, sir.
That's how
On the mark,
cities
sir.
work.
Let's move out.
You know, crap goes in, you got to get the crap out. That's how it works. And when it rains, you got to figure out where to put the water. And the same with the snow. And the electricity has to get from the power plant to the people. And it's a whole thing of just making stuff work.
Unit ready.
And if anyone is under the delusion that it's working, you got some serious issues.
Destination commander.
You don't want to see the truth. You're lying about it. So for your, you know, pretty much mayor, he's pretty much your mayor now,
24/7.
Zorn Memdani,
Unit
coming up with
How about
a
some action?
$700 million proposal
Unit reporting.
to make buses before a penny of that goes to infrastructure. What? $700 million given to the right leadership to pay the right people, not lining pockets, not favors and
Ready to roll.
cronyism,
Securing position.
but a real construction firm, people that know what they're doing about infrastructure, and you pay
Yes, sir.
them
Good to go.
to fix
Ready.
things. Doesn't that sound like the way the city should run? Doesn't that absolutely sound like something a
Vehicle
leader,
ready.
a mayor,
Ready to roll. Ready to roll. High
would,
speed,
would
low
talk
drag.
about? Not
Destination,
free
Commander.
buses
On our way, sir.
while the buses were
Ready to roll.
floating
Outstanding.
in the
Unit
roadway.
promoted.
Oh, the bus couldn't get through because
Yes,
you know
sir.
all
On
of
our way, sir.
Queens is underwater. But that bus is going to be free. Why don't you fix
Building.
the fact that the roads
There's
flood
only
when it
one
rains?
true Yuri. This is
They
that.
just cannot prioritize because that's not sexy.
Yes, sir. Bound
That
forward.
doesn't appeal to the
Destination, Commander.
constituent mindset.
Unit reporting.
The
On our way,
people
sir.
running for office, if they go say, well, we're gonna make sure that the flood water from the rain
Let's show 'em what
actually
we got.
drains as the rain's coming down. Yeah. What's in it for me? Well, not a flooded basement, not roads that you cannot drive through or over because it's flooded. They go, yeah, I don't know. I could make a left there. avoid that whole area, and then I'll do this. What about free buses for me? So, the politicians, of course, are to blame, but the people are also to blame. They're voting in these people that just cannot see the real problem. And, that's most politicians, but you have an extremist in there. Zoran Mandana. Free buses while the entire city's infrastructure is, they wore top hats. When they were putting in that sewer system, they had big top hats. It wasn't ironic. It wasn't some hipsters over in Brooklyn wearing a top hat and a monocle and a steampunk watch. These were people, they wore that because that was the fashion of the day. They wore cloaks, for God's sake. And that's when the infrastructure was being built. Now, over 100 years later, it's falling apart and free buses. You dummies.
Unit reporting. On our way.
I hate to keep calling New Yorkers dumb because they are my audience. But I think
All fired up.
the people listening to this very program and others on this station, I think they understand. They're not
Ready as ever.
dummies.
Check out
They
the
see
view.
the dummies every day, and they go, look, a dummy.
Construction options.
So I think you can identify the people that are voting in these idiots. But, that should be disqualifying right there.
Oh,
That
hello,
should
sir.
disqualify Zoran
Ready
Mandana.
to soar.
He comes out, you see New York flooding.
Unit ready.
Every single time they get a significant rain.
Chronominer reporting for duty.
And you're still talking about $700 million for free buses. That should be, yo, I'm so sorry, you're disqualified. But I'm in the, yes,
Unit ready.
great effort, but you tripped up with the
Insufficient
$700 million free buses.
Creeping ahead.
We'll see you next time,
Laying
Zoran.
low.
But the people, that seems to be what they want. I don't know. I've read some stuff that Cuomo might
Ready to
be
roll.
catching up in the polls. But again, I'm a little jaded on polling
Here, but that's
after the
trees.
past few
Going mobile, sir.
decades,
Clear out
actually.
sanctuary.
They don't seem to know what the hell they're talking about. All right, just
Okay,
up
Commander.
and running.
Okay.
We are
You'll get the
just
cash in a
beginning
flash.
the program, and I see the phone's already lit. I didn't even have to say
Mean, green, and unseen.
848-9222.
Soon
We'll
you
get to
won't.
your calls, and oh my God, plenty more shenanigans
Construction
coming up
complete.
on the Anthony Cumia Show. What's up, Lamar?
Oh, hello, sir.
Good evening,
Rolling
sir.
with the chrono convoy.
We were compelled to
Got
call
a
you this
steady
evening
glow.
because we're downtown
Igniting
in New
boosters.
York
Clear out the
City.
place.
And when we heard you on the radio, my little crew here, we out in the field, told me we got to call this man because what you said, sir,
He's got no play
has
time.
biblical justification. The one true source book of all wisdom and knowledge actually tells us that there are certain groups we should refrain from helping. First on that list is the ungrateful, the
Ready as ever.
stiff-necked, the rebellious. There are demographics in this country who don't know,
Got a clear
and it's
read,
about
sir.
time somebody told them that this country doesn't owe them anything. We got veterans lying in hospitals all over this
24/7.
country, at VA centers with no arms and no legs, who have
Destination,
lost their
Commander.
vision, their sight,
Chronominer
who have
reporting for
never
duty
been
as ever.
given the entitlements that these ungrateful bastards have
24/7.
been given on a silver platter. And
there
God
it is.
bless you
Want
for
some
killing
shade?
them. Thank
On
you,
the
sir.
prowl.
Thank you, Lamar. Wow. Fire and
Natural
brimstone. He sort of sounded like a cross between Martin Luther King and Muhammad Ali. Right? Didn't he?
Construction complete.
Boy. Kind of wakes up with some energy,
hello, sir.
doesn't he?
Insufficient.
Rolling
Matt
with the chrono
Bronx, what's up,
convoy.
man?
All fired up. I'll take
Hey,
that.
how are you?
Check out the view.
As you know, before I get to my main comment, definitely want to pitch the culture critique by Dr. Kevin McDonald. If you want to know about all the left-wing ideologies
Matt.
that are
Nobody here but us trees.
but definitely read the book. But with regard to SNAP EBT, I want you to know that according to the USDA website,
Planting.
that's U.S. Department of Agriculture,
Sure.
Rocket to the sky. Vehicle ready.
55% of households that receive SNAP actually work.
Yeah, to some extent.
That,
Got a clear view,
yeah,
sir.
the ones that, I should correct that. 55% of households with children that receive SNAP are working adults, and another 28% overall are working adults overall without children. So, but I just want to make clear that SNAP is comparatively to government spending. The social safety net is relatively small. Most of the welfare spending in this country is not social; it's corporate. When you look at defense contractors, Raytheon, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, McDonnell Douglas, you name it, LG 3 Harris, all these other defense contractors that are literally siphoning off hundreds of billions of dollars of American taxpayer money.
I get what you're saying, Matt, but let me get in here for a second. I understand what you're saying. Like, there are bigger fish to fry as far as money goes, but let's say you are wealthy parents, right, and you have a kid, and you could give the kid whatever he wants, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to you. You're going to end up with a pretty crappy, spoiled kid. It's not so much the money that's going out, it's the people that you're creating, the entitlement, the expectation that these people have that they will be supported. It makes for a really bad type of people that carry that attitude and being spoiled into the community. While it doesn't maybe not monetarily cost a lot, it costs our society a lot in the people that it cultivates.
Yes, and I would agree with that. And so far as that, basically when Lyndon Baines Johnson created the Great Society programs back in the 1960s, he didn't do it out of the kindness of his heart.
Right.
He created these programs in order to addict, to get dependent the American black constituents in urban centers.
Right.
And it's grown exponentially since then. It's not just blacks in the urban centers anymore. We have a huge white underclass in this country that is totally dependent on Medicaid, food stamps, you name it.
And the illegals and even legal immigrants that are coming into this country that cannot support themselves. And this is a great opportunity for Democrats mostly to come out and say, we will care for you. And it gets them to vote. They started out back in the 60s with the black communities, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough people, so they had to start ushering in other people. And the impoverished white people, putting them on welfare. They want dependents. They want people that need the government as a mommy and daddy. Matt, thanks, man. Always appreciate the phone call. But it's as I was saying, we really need to look at it though and get people off of this welfare system, because, like I said, it just creates a bad type of people. And I don't mean that in any racist way, sexist way, anything. I'm not getting down on people that are impoverished and in need. It just isn't a good model to help people out. It makes them dependent, and it gives them this entitlement that they feel they are owed. And regardless of how much or how little it actually costs the government, it's not the type of people you want around. I mean, we see what happens in a lot of these communities that are predominantly occupied by welfare recipients. Let's be honest. The places aren't nicely kept up. There's a lot of illegal activity going on, and it's just not a place a lot of people want to live. And I think not having a purpose in life, a job, not feeling any self-respect. You don't respect yourself. You're not respecting anyone or anything else. So if you're just handed money every month and no one cares what you do with it, and you're just you've grown used to that, you're the spoiled child. I don't want to live near that. And they're not going to contribute a lot to the society. So again, it doesn't have much to do with the money itself. It's it's more the character of the people that are on generational welfare. So I think this is, like I said, a great opportunity to look around, see who really needs it. Let's wring out that sponge and see who really needs these benefits. And absolutely make sure they get the benefits that they need. But if you can work, and you talk about the illegals, and we're throwing them out of the country, and these are the same people that would pick our oranges and our cabbage and clean our hotel rooms. We always hear, the left, for the most part, they say a lot of that, and I'm thinking it sounds horrifically racist. But, those are jobs. Oh, well, people won't do those jobs. Americans don't do that. How about you want to eat? How about you want to feed your kids and clothe them and send them to school? Then you better do those jobs. And if you don't like it, that should be some motivation to get yourself a better job. How about that? But for some reason, when you give them just enough money to get by, they don't want to do it. I'm not going to work. This is working out well for me. So, like I said, the character of the people that are on welfare is more important than the money itself. Yeah, it's not technically speaking, but, we'll talk more about it. And your calls next. Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price, 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense, ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.
Hey, Ant. Now I'll give you my version. That LeVar's version was a little different. I don't think he's including the past 4 years of Biden.
Yeah.
But I was homeless for 5 years, okay? I had a catastrophic amputation, ran through all my savings, and when I came out, I had nowhere to land, so they stuck me in social services and in the shelters, okay?
Right.
All predominantly black. I was in Roosevelt, Uniondale, Hempstead, only white guy, okay? 67 years old with an amputated foot. Not a good place to be. But here's what I learned about the SNAP system and the EBT thing. It's $295 a head. Every kid's the same, $295. That's why they have 4 or 5 kids.
Right.
But what they do is they go to the bodegas in Freeport and they sell the cards.
Oh, yeah.
They sell the cards at 30, 40 cents on the dollar so they can get the hair extensions and the fingernails and the eyelashes and the iPhones and everything else.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
And I was looked at as an idiot because I got $100 because I was 67 and had no kids. And I'd go to the dollar store, and I'd take the bus and I'd make it last.
Right.
I'd get laughed at. They would goof on me and make fun of me.
See, Kevin, you're an example of a person that absolutely should get these benefits. I mean, I'm not saying everyone on it is on the take or isn't worthy of receiving the taxpayers' money. But you seem like a guy that really needed the help, and we really have to look into that and start getting people out actually working.
Exactly. But I paid into it for years, you know. While I was in the shelters, I was volunteering at the churches and the pantries. You know, it took me 5 years, and I saved money. I got a little job, and I finally got out, and now I got my place in Long Beach. I got my home, and I'm retired because I had to, because I couldn't work without a foot.
Aircraft carrier responding.
See what the excesses are and how the money is spent. That's what you find frustrating, you know. And that thing about the military and all of that, at least we're getting something out of it. You get jets and rockets and armors. You know, it's just, please, these people contribute nothing. Just take, don't give.
Aircraft
carrier
responding.
That's very good. You pulled yourself up by your bootstrap and got on your foot, on your own foot, and
you took my line. I was watching one of your old radio shows on YouTube, and you're talking about the Halloween when you had that, when you lived in the Jewish neighborhood.
Oh yeah. They would drive. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you, man. We gotta put the continue button on the phone screen. Or I can't. There we go. Halloween out on Long Island. I'm not one of these handout candies and be like, oh, look how cute a little Superman or this. So I put a bowl out there, and I wouldn't even put a sign that said just take one. I just assumed. But this was Roslyn, Long Island, a pretty well-to-do neighborhood. And people would drive their kids to the good neighborhoods so that they would get better candy, full-size Snickers bars and whatnot. And my Ring camera caught so many people just grabbing fistfuls of candy, putting them in their bag, jumping in a car like it was a bank robbery. So, even if you live in a nice neighborhood, Halloween, not really safe. Not really safe. But, Kevin, that was a great example of somebody that really needs the program and should be on it. And then look what he said. He did give back. He volunteered. He did what he could. He might not have been able to work enough or at a job to support himself at the time, but he made sure what he could do, he volunteered that work. And in time, he got himself back on his foot and got a house, and he's retired. That's how it's supposed to work. You are not supposed to be on these programs for generation after generation. And when you say things like this, you're looked at as this heartless person. You just want children to starve. God, how many times have you heard that one over the course of the past few weeks since the government shut down? Trump wants children to starve to death. Really? Does he? Because truth be told, and like Kevin was saying, there are plenty of private charitable organizations that do a hell of a lot more and a hell of a better job feeding and clothing people than the government could ever do. Any town will have some type of church organization or something set up where food and clothing, especially for children, is readily available. I've often talked about how it is a miracle. The United States of America, it is a miracle to have as many people as we have in this country, and no one starves to death. People just don't starve to death for lack of food. There are some insane people that, they'll chain their kid to a radiator or stop eating. But no one, because there is a lack of food, starves to death in a country of hundreds of millions of people. And that is an amazing feat. And it's not because the government is giving out EBT cards. It's because we have an amazing, very empathetic nation of people that are willing to volunteer and contribute and help each other on that local level. And, you know, when you look around the world at some of these countries, even supposed first world Western countries, there are people starving to death.
Slow and steady.
I'm not saying we don't have a problem in this country with hunger and with nutrition,
Commencing attack
but,
run.
you know, there's no vulture circling a starving child's body out in the field somewhere because there's a lack of food and resources for people to get food to their kids. So that's really where the effort should come from. And if somebody needs government assistance, it really should be somebody that obviously cannot do for themselves. And I don't have an issue with that. Of course, you have to be a real hard person to have an issue with people that really need something. So let us talk to... Oh, here's Shane from Vermont. Shane, you've been on Snap your entire life. How old a gentleman are you?
I'm 30 years old. I'm about to be, and
you better hear some horrid physical affliction.
Aircraft carrier responding.
Well, I'm not going to go into the details. I actually didn't say that I was on Snap, but I said that there's people in my family that are close ones that have been on it, and it's a lot of people that stopped trying very early on in their life, and then they have kids that they get paid several $100s after each additional kid. So you have the 5 different kids with 4 different fathers, like my mother did, and she was set. She was getting like well over $800 to $1,800 a month for a long time. Living in a house that the state was actually paying the subsidy to her father.
Oof. That sounds like what Danny wants to do in New York. But,
yeah.
Wow. So, is there any element of shame in your family with these people that are doing this, or do they almost have this weird sense of that they're proud that they figured out a way to buck the system like that?
Well, as far as why they did it, I still ask myself that question today. I don't talk to those people anymore, but as far as the guys who talked about selling stuff, and that you kind of glossed over that. I want to reiterate that that's something that people are doing rampant. It's something that I've never personally engaged in, but of course I've heard about it, and it's bad. You buy a lot of meat, you freeze it, you sell it like that guy said, 30 cents on the dollar, and there's no incentive for the organizations to actually clamp down on that fraud. That's the big problem.
Yeah, I think if we actually, as a country, locally, federally, looked into the waste, you know, Doge was supposed to do this, but I think it's just so rampant, and it's got its tentacles into everything, that we've just reached a point where it is impossible to go through every program and every system and find the amazing amount of corruption, crime, and waste going on.
Well, the nonprofits and the agencies are engaged in predatory receiving of these benefits from the federal government anyway, because they don't do anything to address concerns that citizens have in project housing, safety concerns.
Right.
Yeah, I'm calling you from Project Housing, and we can't keep a property manager right now. We've had like 4 in the last 2 years.
What do you do for a living? I'm curious. You sound quite articulate for someone living in project housing.
Well, it's not something I really want to get into. I wish I could have gone into higher education, but it just wasn't really in the cards.
Should have gone into radio.
Social stuff. Well, Anthony, maybe I will. Maybe I will start a show.
There you go. All right, Shane. Thank you, my friend. I don't know. I don't know what that story's all about. I'm sure something's going on over there. He just didn't sound like a guy who was in project housing. He just kind of, and having a big family with a lot of them or a few of them on programs, SNAP programs like that. And the corruption, yeah. And it just seems the second a politician really wants to look into it, they jump on him. The Democrats and liberals will jump on. Look into the corruption going on in these SNAP programs. Yeah, they're selling the credit cards. They're selling the products that they're buying. They sell the card to a bodega. They could get money, then they could buy whatever they want, cigarettes, things they couldn't buy with the SNAP cards. So this is happening. And the second someone says something about it, there's a lot of corruption. We got to look into this. Oh, starving children. You just want the kids to starve. And, it goes on and on and on, and nothing is remedied during any conversation. And these politicians, my God, people like Schumer, that Chuck Schumer, he can't get out in front of the camera anymore and try to pass off this government shutdown on anyone. Everyone knows that the Democrats own this shutdown. It's a simple case of sign the bill to reopen the government, with only reopening the government on the bill. And then you look at the Democrats, they want all kinds of things added to the bill, and the Republicans say, no, it's not happening. And then they try to say that because of that, it's Trump's shutdown. He owns it. And they're like, oh, they got the White House, the Senate, and Congress. So you need 60 votes. It just doesn't, mathematically, it doesn't work out. And they know this. They know we need a few Democrats to come over to pass anything. So just because you have the House and the Senate and the White House doesn't mean anything. But that's another way they lie to the American people and try to convince them that Trump's shut down.
I'm your man. Cover me.
And you got a guy like that, like Chuck Schumer, running your city or your state. He's the go-to guy that goes to D.C. to represent you, and he's a liar.
Ready to roll.
He's just a liar.
Securing position.
And keeping people dependent on things, and when you want to actually try to solve a problem like corruption in the welfare system, they'll turn around and say you're a terrible person for wanting to starve the kids.
Commander. Destination Commander.
Oh, my
Vehicle
God.
ready. On our way, sir.
And you guys got an election coming up.
Unit reporting.
Oh, boy.
Securing position.
Oh, boy.
Fuel tanks are
Now,
filled.
we'll get into
Rockets
this,
in the sky.
obviously,
Clear out the place.
in a lot more detail
Rockets in the sky.
coming up on the show. But this is a pretty important election for New York City. And, we got Mandani, we got Cuomo, and we got Curtis. And people are fuming at Curtis right now. They are so pissed at Curtis Lewa, especially since now these new polls are showing that Cuomo is kind of inching up a little closer to Mandani. And if it ends up being close, Mandani wins by a couple of percentage points, Curtis is going to have to get out of town. There's going to be more than the mob looking for Curtis if that happens. But again, I don't particularly blame Curtis. I don't think it's the Republicans' candidate. He won the Republican nomination, and I don't think it's his responsibility to have to hand that over to Andrew Cuomo in order to keep a worse Democrat out of office. It's nice, and people are saying, well, if Curtis really wanted to help New Yorkers, he would do this. That's one way to look at it. The other way is, here's my platform. And it does include really helping people and cleaning up crime and building infrastructure. You know, whether anyone can do that or not is a we'll see kind of a prospect. But, you know, you want somebody that's going to do that, then vote for him.
Vehicle ready.
Why the hell should he have to drop out to save the Democrats?
Outstanding.
You guys got yourself in this position all by yourself. You guys nominated Zoran Memdani as your Democrat candidate for mayor of New York City. And then you got Cuomo. He has to run as an independent because he, you know, screwed the pooch when he was up in Albany. And now Curtis is supposed to be the guy that saves everyone by dropping out. And I know, you know, there's plenty of people at the radio station up there. Sid, I love Sid Rosenberg, Sid and Friends in the Morning. Even John Katz, the boss up there. I know they really want Curtis to drop out. And, you know, it's asking a lot. It's asking a lot of Curtis to drop out. And I know he doesn't have a chance. I know damn well Curtis Lewa does not have a chance in hell of winning. But there's a little more going on here than that. And I think at some point, New York has to go, oh my God, did we screw up? This is terrible. It's the only way you're going to get another Giuliani in there.
Perfect hideout.
You know, Dinkins, remember Dinkins? Wasn't that a treat? In order to get another Giuliani, you need to go through a Dinkins.
Who's your daddy?
And have things get so incredibly bad that, you know, you got to look around and go, we need to fix this. Oh, but it's a Democrat city. Yeah, even they're going nuts. Even they're out of their minds with how bad things went under Memdani. So you get Andrew Cuomo in there. He might fix a few things. He'll do this. It'll be liberal, Democrat liberal projects. The money to illegals will go back. The hotels again. All that nonsense. And then what? The Democrats go, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. And then they just vote another Democrat in. It has to get really, really bad. And I think Memdani's just the guy to pull that off. All right, back in a couple of minutes with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. A little bit of Hollywood. Because, I despise Hollywood. The only thing I want to see from Hollywood these days, Sydney Sweeney. That's about it. A good picture of Sydney Sweeney, like Vanity Fair took one of her the other day, red carpet thing, and she was wearing a very, what would you call it?
I'll take the high road.
Well, a hot dress. It was, you know, it didn't cover up much. It was very nice. She's a pretty gal. Am I going out on a limb saying that Sydney Sweeney is a pretty gal? Yeah. Other than that, I am done. I am done with Hollywood. And as I was saying earlier, and in many other shows, they feel like they're compelled to tell everybody how they should live their life. And it's just, it's infuriating. And it's showing because people really don't see them as celebrities anymore. They see them as annoying people who have no idea what it's like to live a real life. And they can't keep their mouths shut because they're all narcissists. They're all attention whores, I think you call them. So Mark Ruffalo, he is one of the just, he's at the forefront of the liberal Hollywood D-bag. And anything this guy says is looked at like the blithering idiot that he is, said it. So Mark Ruffalo, he's talking about how the right, the evil conservatives, they're the ones preying on the decency of the left. Oh, yeah. He actually said this. Let's listen to Mark Ruffalo, Hollywood actor. Hello?
The way that prisons are set up in our society, I would argue that they do not work. They do not make us safer. The instinct is to just take that person, the source of that harm, the source of that issue, and just throw them away. Put them in a cage and throw away the key.
Oh, no,
that doesn't address the reason why that harm was created in the first place.
That's the wrong clip. It's the Mark Ruffalo. No?
Check out the view.
This happens
And what
once.
they do is they prey on our decency. They're preying on our decency. They're preying on our ability to speak the truth to power. That's what this whole anti-fascist move is. Notice they don't call out an organization. They call it anti-fascism. Okay? Because they don't want you fighting against fascism.
Let's see some action.
But
that's what we're doing here.
Please. Antifa is, anti-fascist. Is that what it means? It's one of the most fascist organizations out there. These are people that want to prevent you from speaking your mind. These are the people that when a speaker like Ann Coulter wants to go to a college campus because she's invited by people that want to hear her speak, they will show up and resort to violence to prevent people from hearing what she has to say. That's the decency that Mark Ruffalo is talking about. The decency of the left. We saw that on display when Charlie Kirk's neck got blown out. That's the decency of the left. Or when Trump missed having his brains all over national television by a millimeter or so. That's the decency that Mark Ruffalo is talking about. They really believe that they are the moral compass of this country. Hollywood actors, the most debaucherous, sick individuals in this country, the ones with all the secrets and the skeletons falling out of the closets, very tiny skeletons falling out of their closets. They're the decent ones. Mark Ruffalo, and they all know. Even the few that probably don't participate in the debauchery, they know people. They know the stories. They laugh at the inside jokes about it at award shows. So Mark Ruffalo can go screw about the decency of the left. Please. Oh my God, I'm disgusted.
Ready to roll. Bound forward. Vehicle ready. Weapon ready. Outstanding.
The older you get, the quicker time goes by. I think it's because you don't, you're not looking forward to as much. I think you're trying to put a lot of stuff off. And everyone, ever since you were a kid, when you look forward to things, oh my God, it takes forever. Your birthday, Christmas, summer vacation, and you just want to, you want it to get there as quickly as possible, and then it seems like it takes forever. Then you get older, and you're just putting things off. You want bills and all the nastiness that comes with some aspects of adulthood. You want to kind of put those off. You don't want them coming around very quickly, and when you do that, time just seems to blow right past you. So that's my theory. Boy, today, what a show. Tonight, actually. I just looked outside. It's still light out, so to me it's today. I enjoy this time of year so much. But tonight, Dre DiMatteo is on the show. Adriana from The Sopranos, of course. Any cast member of The Sopranos is welcome on my show. That is for sure. A lot of stuff going on in her life, and obviously, when we talk Sopranos, people from The Sopranos have to be sick of it.
Unit reporting.
I think about it, and I think about when The Sopranos came out. I mean, You know, the pilot episode was filmed in, what, 98? 97, 98? The show comes out in 99. And think back to what you were doing around that time. I guess I was at WNEW in New York City, the Opie and Anthony show there. And, like, I think if all anyone talked to me about was the O&A show from, you know, NEW, not even the satellite radio years or anything else like that, I might get a little tired of it. Gotta be honest. You're all nice and cordial people. I saw a lot of people down in Boca. I was down in Boca Raton, Florida, over the past week. Did a comedy show down there with Josh Kenny, Gavin McInnes. And it was a great time. Met a lot of, you know, great fans. They appreciate you and what you do. And some people, you know, they bring up stuff from literally 30, 35 years ago. And I guess, you know, most people smile and say thank you. And you should. You should be appreciative of people recognizing what you do and what you've done, but you know, that's me and the O&A show. That's nowhere near Sopranos level celebrity. So it's just got to be constant. I saw Steve Sharippa on a show recently, and the hosts of the podcast were asking him, they go, "Yeah, I know you're sick of it, but I just got to ask you a Sopranos thing." And he didn't even say, like, no, that's okay. Like, I would do that. You know, I know you're probably sick of it, but I'd be like, no, it's cool, man, it's cool. I think Sharippa's past the point where he even says it's cool. I think he's just like, I've been doing so many other things. Why do they always ask me about the Sopranos? But, you know, it's one of those crosses to bear that people don't, I think can't really relate to. They go, oh, I would love to have that problem. Yeah, until that's your problem, then it's probably kind of a pain in the ass. But, yeah, Dre DiMatteo, Adriana, one of the, I guess, most, I don't know, sympathetic. She's not innocent on the show, that's for sure. No one is innocent on The Sopranos. I don't think there's one person who could truly say, boy, that poor bastard was involved with those people, and it was terrible for them. So I don't think anyone was innocent, but she definitely, Adriana, the character, definitely had the sympathy of a lot of the viewers, and obviously one of the most brutal death sequences, even though you don't see it. It was pretty brutal. I think we all know that. But we'll talk to her about that. Other things, she was in, of course, Sons of Anarchy. Another just crazy, very graphically violent program. But, yeah, we'll talk to her in a bit. I said I went down to Florida, and I hate doing, like, talking about the plane because it's so, how about those airline peanuts? What is up with the flight attendants? You know, everything's been done, but when it comes to air travel, but I gotta tell you, it's just getting worse. It's getting worse and worse, having to go through the whole rigmarole of the airport, and you do everything you can to speed it up. They give you clear, you know. How many people have clear or TSA, whatever it is, check, and you blast through pretty quickly. When I first got it, then it just becomes the new normal, and you're standing on the line again. So there's that, and my flight was delayed leaving Fort Lauderdale for Atlanta, so I had to make a stop. And so when I got to Atlanta, I missed the connecting flight, and there wasn't another one until very late, so I just decided to stay in Atlanta overnight. And catch a flight in the morning, which I did. Now, I don't want to sound hoity-toity or upper crusty or stuck up, but I usually fly first class. Thank you. Thank you. I could hear the applause from my studio. And there's a reason. It isn't because of the service you get. I mean, that's a thing of the past. I have looked at videos and old film clips from days gone by of amazing service you would get in first class. Here comes the carving board with all the roast beef you could eat.
Ready to roll.
Look at this child eating a strawberry shortcake. It's done. It's over. There is no first class like that anymore. It's over, Johnny. And it's kind of sad. I think that was one of those institutions of America, a little bit of decadence. You scrape up enough money to fly first class, and, you know, it says it right in there, first class. It's a class-oriented thing. Air travel was like boat travel in the early days. There were classes. You want to be down in the bilge, or you want to be up in first class, eating with Rose and her family on the Titanic. But air travel was like that. They sold it as this amazing thing called first class. And it's gone. But I still get it just for a couple of reasons. The seats are wider. You're not sitting right on top of somebody. And you board first. And you get out first because you're up at the front of the plane. That's really the only reasons anyone gets first class. And I could peek into the cockpit and see if my pilot is to my liking. I don't want any DEI pilots. So I like being able to lean out into the aisle and see Chuck Yeager or Sully Sullenberger or another pilot that I know. Okay, I can relax. I don't want to see no dame in there. I don't want to see anybody that I'm not sure they got the job through their capabilities. Yeah, merit-based. I don't know about that. So I like that part of first class. But I couldn't take it. I had to take the only seat that was left to fly back home from Atlanta. That seat was between two of the biggest, fattest guys. And, you know, there's only so much you could do about it, but it goes back to, like, a bigger issue. Just, why are we a nation of slobs?
Like the wind.
Why the hell are we a country that has just lost all touch with trying to present themselves in some human form? What are the odds, you know, that there's going to be 3 seats, I'm going to get the center seat, and both people are going to be gigantic sitting on either side of me? Well, the odds are very good, apparently. Because we live in a country where people have no shame about being giant slobs these days. Oh, it's annoying. So I sat in there like I was in a big, fat convection oven. They both of them had to fold their arms over their body, or else they'd really be laying over into my seat. But the back under armpit fat was against my shoulders on both sides. Disgusting. It was terrible. Just a terrible, terrible flight. Thank God it was just 30 minutes. But boy, what a tough 30 minutes. But it just reinforced my whole thing that I enjoy first. I really do. Today, I want to delve into, when we go to the phones in a little bit, I want to delve into conspiracy theories. I'm not turning into Art Bell or anything, don't worry. But there's just so much out there right now in the way of conspiracies. And back in the old days, I don't know, what was it, on a mimeograph on your office wall? Like, where did conspiracy theories, how did they get spread around years ago? Now it's easy, so a lot of people believe in it. The majority of the country actually believe in some conspiracy theories. So, obviously 9/11, Building 7, contrails, chemtrails. I got that from Lionel, who has a show right here on this very station. Lionel kind of got me into looking at this chemtrail thing. And it's very interesting. I didn't believe an ounce of it when he first said it. I thought he was a mental patient. I still do sometimes. But I love Lionel. But yeah, conspiracy theories. I want to. So if you have any questions or comments on that, get them ready and give us a call. I should have had the number, shouldn't I? I'll get that to you. I usually write it down in front of my fizz, but I forgot. 1-800-848-9222. From the seeking voice in my ear. Yeah, that's the number. Give us a call, and we'll get to that. Clown of the Week coming up next, so don't go anywhere. First, of course, Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Again, the most difficult job that I have is choosing Clown of the Week because, I don't have to tell you. Watch the news, scroll through your social media, and you decide. It's a 15-way tie on any given day as to who could be the clown. But, this one, she's back, better than ever. She disappeared for a little bit after her failed presidential run. That's right, Kamala Harris. Kamala, see? I don't know. I know it's Kamala, but I always said Kamala, just to annoy people that were voting for her. Yeah, she's back. This is a whole thing. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? Here's my theory on why we're hearing from people like Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris and all these clowns that are coming out of the woodwork from the left Democrat Party. They're going to stake their claim on the 2028 presidency. We know this. You see AOC marching around with Bernie Sanders, and they're putting out videos that look like presidential campaign commercials. So, they got this idea that that's what they're going to do, and that's what the party wants, and they'll be nominated. Truth be told, the powers that be in the Democrat Party know how ridiculous and asinine these people sound. They get out there, it's literally the same playbook they've been running forever. It's the playbook that lost them the election last year. And they know damn well they're not going to put AOC or Kamala or Jasmine Crockett or Bernie Sanders or any of these clowns up on the Dem ticket in 2028. But they have a strategy. If they put these people on the front lines and present them as, here are your Democrat presidential candidates for 2028, do it early now. It's 3.5 years till the election. Then, with about a year to go, they're going to pop some guy out that seems so reasonable and so center-line because he's just not being as insane as the left that we're seeing now. We'll come out and talk about real issues, the economy, the border, and people will look at this Democrat, whoever it is, and go, oh my God, they don't sound insane. Meanwhile, they're very left anyway. They'll be left and what we're used to with Democrats. But it's sort of like forced perspective. You'll see it and go, okay, now we get it. They put out a bunch of lunatics to make this guy look good. So look for that. But in the meantime, have fun just watching these jackasses make it look like they are actually going to make a run for it. Camilla was a complete disaster. I don't know who can't see that. So the thought that she might even think of running again is hilarious. But she is back on the speaking trail, I guess. She's behind a podium. And I did miss her rambling babble about anything and everything. But let's listen in, see if she's gotten any better with her speeches. This is Camilla the other day. Let's hear what she's saying.
But friends, please let us not be duped into thinking everything is chaos. I know it may feel that way, but understand what we are in fact witnessing is a high-velocity event where a vessel is being used for the swift implementation of an agenda that has been decades in the making.
What? She never disappoints. What a buffoon. She is a buffoon. A high velocity. She thinks she's being profound. You know, there's a reason some people sound down home when they speak. You know, when they speak, it sounds like old Americana. You know, talking from experience and what they've accomplished over the years. When you get someone that's an idiot, somebody that really isn't that intelligent and doesn't have the gift of gab at all, and then they try to sound profound by adding in these little, what does she mean? A high velocity
running smooth.
No, we are in a situation that proves to be situational in its situation. What? What are you saying?
Unit ready.
But that's what we got. She crawled out from under her rock to give us that tidbit.
Channel clear. We have them on radar.
Oh my God! And then her vice presidential pick, Tim Walz, he's out there too. You know, he's always a contender for Clown of the Week when he speaks. And what do they expect? You know, I remember a time when a presidential candidate, when they lost, they pretty much disappeared for a while and then went into something else. They just did something else.
Need a repair? Yes,
you know,
sir.
Al Gore. Wasn't that I think him running against George W. Bush, wasn't that his last presidential run? It just, he understood, oh, I'll go into this climate change grift. I can make a few bucks telling people that in 10 years, you know, the Earth is going to be frozen or overheated or flooded or there'll be no water, whatever. And then 10 years passes by and he says 10 more years. But they knew to just leave. You're not wanted. You failed at what you tried to do. And that was kind of, you know, a good thing. But Tim Walz jumps out in front, not even mentioning Kamala, who was the presidential candidate. He was the failed vice presidential candidate, and he's out there like, you know, like he's moving and shaking. All right, we will be back momentarily with Dre DiMatteo. Stick around. The Anthony Cumia Show. My little voice in my ear tells me they are trying to contact her. When we get her on, she will be placed on immediately onto the show. Oh, Jesus Christ, I hope she's okay. Did she, not with Syl, is she? Probably heard that and went like, another Sopranos interview. Oh, God, please, anything but another Sopranos interview. But I'll be nice. talking to her people. We'll see. We'll see what happens. In the interim, we could take some of those calls that I was talking about earlier about some conspiracy stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of conspiratorial nonsense being volleyed about, and I don't know. I used to just discount every single one of them. I had such confidence and belief in the government and in science, and that everything that was presented to me had to have at least most of it was the truth. But now I don't know. I consider things that I never would have considered, especially about
Tools of the trade.
9/11. Like 9/11, I was a staunch believer in the company line. What the government told us about 9/11 was what happened. Osama bin Laden, a bunch of Arabs, as it were, Saudis, Afghanis, whatever. It didn't matter, did it? Iraqi, it didn't matter. We're just going to go attack them all. But I really believed this, and now I sound silly. I'm going to open up here and sound silly to everyone. Because my belief was that they looked at the American lifestyle, decadent, Hollywood, beautiful women, and but this is going back, the 90s, the first Trade Center bombing with the Ryder truck, and earlier terrorist events. I always just thought, oh, they're jealous because we're so awesome. So, because they want to satisfy their own religious beliefs, they decided to kill a bunch of Americans. Yeah, I know. I hear you. You're laughing at me. And I thought that's what it was. Oh, these bastards. They got on these planes because they hate America. They were in Vegas before they hijacked the planes. If that's even what happened. I don't know how far to go with a lot of conspiracies, especially things like 9/11. There's a school of thought that it happened exactly like they said it did. And the other one is that planes didn't even hit the building. It's a hologram and stuff. And I think both of those, to believe in either of those is pretty ridiculous. But then the entire, between those two, is just filled with all kinds of stuff. And you don't know how far to go one way or the other. The people that say it's a hologram and no planes really hit and it was controlled demolition, I can't get into that. But then I've definitely discounted the official rundown that the government gave. It is very obvious now that certain things were done in order to make it easier for us to get into a Middle East conflict back then. So I don't even know. I really don't even know. But we'll see. We'll see if somebody wants to call it 9/11 or any of the other nonsense that's
Missile systems operation.
That's going on. Let's see.
Repairing.
That guy really.
Ready.
We'll talk to Matt. Matt from the Bronx. What's up, Matt?
On my way.
Hey, how are you, Anthony? So basically, before I get to my comment, I want to just share two resources with you. One I've shared before. It's The Culture Critique by Dr. Kevin McDonald. It gives you all the origins of all these left-wing lunatic intellectual movements, cultural Marxism, feminism, etc. It's a really devastating critique on how these movements have really just completely destroyed our society, really.
Yeah.
And with regard to what you're talking about now, with regard to conspiracy theories, quote unquote, there's also a site. It's UNZ.com. It's a political commentary site and a news site. I wouldn't call it conspiracy theories per se, but it just basically gives you more factual and objective information on items. And
I like what you're saying, but who even knows what that is, or where that comes from, or how realistic or factual anything is? That's the problem these days. And believe me, if there were, I've looked at plenty of resources that seem very legitimate, but that's just it. They seem legitimate, and they're completely different as far as what they say. So we're in a very strange place in history right now, where no one really knows what's true or not.
Sure, but one thing I think is fairly certain. I mean, when you look at the mainstream media, you'd have to be a fool to trust anything coming from CNBC, MSNBC, because when you look at just take 9/11 as a case in point. They told us that, Saddam Hussein was connected with Al-Qaeda. He had weapons of mass destruction. He was going to invade. He was going to launch missiles at the United States. He was killing babies in incubators. All that turned out to be lies. And we launched a destructive and disastrous war in the Middle East that cost our economy trillions of dollars, left thousands of our young men and women in the military dead and wounded, and left the entire region in the Middle East in utter chaos, and made it far more dangerous to American interest than it was before we invaded Iraq. And again, that was launched on the premise of the media telling us how dangerous a threat Saddam Hussein was, and he was linked to 9/11, which was a blatant lie. It just goes back to like the Vietnam War, for example. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna just tag what you said about the fact that you can look at what happened after an event like 9/11, and then we go into Iraq and Afghanistan. I think that helps you sort out the truth a little bit, because you could see the motivation there. Motivation is a big thing as far as trying to figure out truth from fiction. When people want to say the government was either involved in 9/11 or they at least knew about it and did nothing, you could then look at what happened afterward and go, well, that's pretty convenient. They were clamoring for a war with Iraq, and this gave them the perfect opportunity to do that. So you have to consider those things when you're researching whether you believe in what a conspiracy is.
Sure, and I'm sure you're familiar with the brilliant writer and American politician, Patrick Buchanan.
Oh yes.
Yes. He actually ran for president unsuccessfully. I think that more than any other Republican mainstream politician, he would have been probably the best choice for commander-in-chief. But I digress. He wrote a paper following 9/11 called "Whose War?" by Pat Buchanan, and he pointed out to the neoconservatives, that clique that really came to power during the Reagan administration, but really came into its own during the George W. Bush administration, launching these series of disastrous wars in the Middle East. People like Paul Wolfowitz, Douglas Feith, Richard Pearl. These bastards were clamoring for a war with Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and then Libya and Iran. Literally years before 9/11 ever occurred.
And now look, Matt.
I'm sorry.
And now look, they're all gone. Like, all those countries have been kind of done in by convenient things that have happened over the course of history. So it makes you think at the very least, and it makes you mad if you think about it too much. But I got to move on, Matt. Government is doing something, or a people are doing something, whatever it is, you have to ask yourself, well, why? That's why I laugh my ass off at the flat earth people. And I know that's another conspiracy, and if you want to call and, we'll do a quick mini debate on that, or we didn't go to the moon, or a few of those things. But there's no reasonable thing that you could say, well, I can understand why a government or the whole earth at this point would have to be behind covering up that the earth is flat, which is insane. But where's, what's the motive? What's the motivation there in saying it? We always make fun, like Alex Jones would go, well, it's Big Globe. Big Globe has the market on, globes and flat maps. They'd have to retool all their machinery. It would be a disaster for them. And you're like, okay, at least that's a reason. Okay, cool. Can we go now, sir, in my ear? Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to Dre Di Matteo. How are you, dear?
Good, how are you? Is this Anthony?
This is Anthony, yes, Anthony.
What's up, Anthony? How you doing?
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's Tony. No, don't call me Tony. Tony's my uncle. Anthony's been my name forever and ever. Are you Dre or Drea? I've had the controversy in my ear for many, many years.
Isn't that annoying?
It is.
Just call me Dre like Dr. Dre. Nice and easy.
Right? That's what I thought. I do my research. I make sure.
Only Andrea.
Right, so Dre, it would be Drea or whatever. It works.
It doesn't matter. You can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me Collect. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
I'm so 1970s, man.
Dre, so good to have you on the show. I know you must have done so many interviews about The Sopranos and whatnot, but first of all, no one knows more about it and is a bigger fan than me, which should be really annoying. But I'm also such a big fan that I know not to just bludgeon you with stupid Sopranos stuff. You've been there.
You can.
No.
I'm used to it. That's my job. I'm the Mickey Mouse of The Sopranos. I'm the Minnie Mouse, I should say.
The Minnie Mouse. No, see, here's what I was saying earlier. Like, I think back to 1999, early 2000s, and I can't imagine, well, I can, because I have had some people do this, where people are asking you about what you did then. You know, oh, hey, that was great, or this. And you go, oh, my God, it was so long ago, but you got to kind of smile and nod, or else you're, a piece of crap.
I mean, I get to say, oh, well, back in 99, I was on this small TV show called The Sopranos. You might have heard of it. There's still billboards for it on Sunset Boulevard right now as we speak.
I am the worst when it comes to identifying something that's going to be a hit or not. And in 1999, I was doing radio, WNEW in New York City, and I'd walk around the streets of New York, and the bus boards just started coming up for The Sopranos. And it said The Sopranos and had the gun in there and everything. And then it said, if one family doesn't kill him, the other one will. And I was like, what is this crap? This show is not going to last one season. What garbage. Because I hated the little tagline they did, like, oh, look out. The mob's going to get him if his wife doesn't. And it was presented kind of in a weird way. I don't think they sold it, at least on that buzzboard, as the show it became.
It happened so fast, too. Oh, my God, I remember you on NEW.
Yes.
That's 102.7, right?
Yeah, we were Opie and Anthony. We did the Whip 'em Out Wednesday thing, which ended up on one of the garbage trucks in an episode of The Sopranos. There was a big wow on the back when they blew up the garbage truck. So, yeah.
I grew up with that station.
Me.
I loved it so much back when things were just a little more rock and roll and way better.
Yes, yeah, you're talking to a former aging shock jock.
I love it, man. Now it's just all saturated, watered down, clear. It's still clear channel. God knows what the hell it all is now.
It's all corporate, man. I like
man.
When it was
rock and roll doesn't even exist anymore, man. We're gonna need aliens to come down and start making rock and roll cool again.
Well, speaking of rock and roll, Dre, I didn't even know who your husband was.
Oh, Mr. Robbie Stabler. He is the epitome of rock and roll. He's the shaman drummer.
Yes, the shaman drummer. You've gone out and actually been married, I guess, to a couple of musicians over the years.
I'm a professional groupie. You can add that to my resume, too. I swore this last time around I would never date another musician, but Robbie he won me over in the pandemic. That was the end of that.
Was that when that happened?
Yeah, he got stuck here when they shut the world down with me and my children, and I wake up and he's teaching my kids, homeschooling them. I was like,
that's something that a mom looks at that just like falls instantly in love. It's a rom-com scene, for God's sake.
Yeah, waking up at 6 a.m. was not going to be for me. And now we switched places. He wakes at 11 and now I'm up at 6 with the kids.
You were you were involved for a time, with Michael, the bass player of Whitesnake. I love Whitesnake. But I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
bring
he's
up.
not in there anymore either. I don't think. I think that fell apart. A lot of things fell apart in the pandemic.
Well, Whitesnake has had as many members as Spinal Tap. They really have had quite a few members in there. But I still love David Coverdale. Was he nice to you?
He was awesome. I absolutely love him. He's fun. He was great. He allowed me to get engaged for the second time on his stage.
Oh wow.
That happened. But anytime I've gotten engaged on stage, that ended up not becoming a good engagement.
Not working out. Yeah.
No.
The guy kind of tutoring your kids sounds like a much better husband or boyfriend.
That was the way.
Yeah. The similarity between you with musicians and of course Adriana.
I know.
I got to ask you this. Did you like the Meow song? Come on.
Do you know that was the most? I had two moments in the show that were the most nerve-wracking for me. It was the Meow, and it was when I had to get on stage the Crazy Horse and introduce the band.
Right.
That was me really on display, and those were the moments where I realized I'm not really a performer, man. Like, this isn't my bag.
Wow, because it wasn't like acting. It was just kind of, here's what I do, and I got to put it out there, your real self.
I mean, he wrote that. I didn't improvise that. There was nothing was ever improvised on the show. That was pure David Chase. They thought I was a cat on the show, and they went with it, and I had to meow for them.
That song was so bad.
I know. We were listening to to Defiler, and I go, yeah.
just terrible. Yours, of course, Adriana. One, and I was saying it earlier. One of the most, I guess, sympathetic characters. No one in the show, and I've watched it so many times over. You realize, like, no one in the show is innocent. There's just not really one person that is completely innocent in that show. Somebody's out for something. They're using people for something. But you obviously came across as very sweet, and it was kind of the worst scene ever to watch her demise there at the hands of Syl. But I guess David played it out that way to make you more sympathetic than some of the other, especially the wives, Mela and the rest of them.
I think she was the sacrificial lamb, and even though she was brassy and she would fight back, she never had an agenda. Like even the kids even had a hustle.
Yes.
She never did. Like and David said this to me too. She was pure love. She really only operated from a place of love. She would defend herself sometimes, but she was never leading with that type of agenda the way everybody else was. People sort of, they gave into a lot of stuff because they wanted certain things. She just wanted love and wanted to give love.
Yeah.
She's super innocent in that way. So when she dies, it's tragic because it changed the show in a way. Like you really got to see how that's killing one of their own in that way without even a moment of questioning.
Yeah.
How repulsive it was. You really started to feel the animalistic nature of these men,
Dre, we're taking a quick break, but we'll come right back. I want to talk to you a little more if you can hang out a bit.
Yeah, I'm good.
Appreciate it. Okay, we'll be back with Trey DiMatteo in moments. Anthony Cumia Show. We were also on Sons of Anarchy, which another just graphically violent show.
Now, I like to call that one Diet Sopranos. Even though it was more violent, it was still Diet Sopranos kind of emotionally in a way.
Right. It was more, I think, less real deep storytelling and more just cracking heads open and whatnot.
Yeah, they took that to the nth degree, but they didn't really go there with this sort of tragedy. It was tragic, but a different kind of tragedy. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. TV has gotten so different from obviously the Sopranos days and a lot of other shows. It was must-watch viewing when it happened. Sunday night, everybody sat in front of that TV with their family or and you watched The Sopranos and you talked about it the next day. And if you missed it, you were screwed. You know, you were gonna. It was gonna get spoiled. It took a little bit before you could see it again. How do you think that affects how people watch stuff these days?
Oh man, I mean, again, innocence just gone.
Gone.
You know, like people getting together and sitting around. I mean, The Sopranos was an event. You know, people would sit around and order all kinds of Italian food. It was like, you know, mozzarella Sundays. It was Sunday dinner. So it was a social. It was such a social time, and I feel like everything has just. I feel like it was the beginning of this beautiful era of television, and it was also the end at the same time. Because once we opened that door, it opened the door to, you know, fantastic television, and then all of a sudden television became king over film. And then the streaming started. You know, it was like what we were going through with the music industry, with LimeWire and like all of these things that were happening back then. And then the streamers took place, and it's just sort of, I don't understand it right now. We're in a weird time. I feel like the only hope we have for entertainment, aside from what we just went through in the last 4 years, and art is dead over the whole woke agenda. I feel like the indie film is going to reemerge. TV needs to take a break, man. And
Isn't
the
that
indie film needs to come back.
Yeah, it is similar to music in that way, because everybody wonders what happened to, you know, the indie bands, and like we saw in the 90s, obviously, out of the hair metal days and into grunge. Like, it's just some young people in a garage somewhere with their idea of what entertainment is in their field. And I think, movies and TVs need that. Streaming has just kind of gotten where they'll give you maybe one good season and then just pump garbage out because you're hooked on the one season.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's like we're living during the most lazy, and now we have the Gen Z kids. You know, I'm always lecturing my own son. I'm like, man, you can't take the easy way out. I mean, I know we've all figured out the schools and indoctrination situation, but we also have to still try to, you know, thrive under pressure, challenges, and try to make cool stuff again. Like, this is. Now everything's watered down. Everybody's flipping auto-tune on. Like, I just don't. TV shows are terrible. Everything looks like this ugly video. It's not even like a cool VHS vibe. We got this like high def, ultra realistic. There's no imagination.
I like film grain. What happened to that? You watch things that they look like soap operas. Yeah, everything looks like a soap opera now. I gotta say, one of my favorite lines, why don't you go want a house? I like that one. Why don't you go want a house?
I forgot that one.
That one's great. Also, you want me to make you some scrambled eggs? I like that one. And then
you could have said anything with that accent.
It was just perfect. And then Christopher, one of the worst scenes was, you never told me you were damaged goods. That was brutal.
Uterus.
That was brutal. You always seem to, like, the second you got happy, you just got screwed over somehow. In the same episode, back to back like that. It was amazing. So I won't even ask you about the last episode, aside from where were you when you watched it, and did you go like? Because I talked to Vincent Curatola, and he's like, we didn't know that was going to happen.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was watching it with a house full of people. We had a big Sunday event at my house. I think I was pregnant yet or something. But I wasn't on the show for a year, I think, at that point. So I wasn't really in touch with all my buddies. And the minute my TV went out, I called one of my best friends, who was the production assistant on the show. And I'm like, yo.
Trey, could you hang for one more break? We gotta go take a break quick for the network, can you?
Okay.
We'll be right back. Anthony Kubian. Trey?
Hi.
Hi, we're back. Sorry to make you wait. You know how it is. It's like old school. The commercials and things, you know, breaks. Not like a podcast. I've enjoyed podcasting over the past few years, but, you know, back on broadcast radio, as they say. Yeah, it's nostalgic. You were talking about your reaction to the screen going black when you had a room full of people, I guess, and you were all.
Oh yeah, I
waiting
didn't.
for the big
I was like, this is a mistake. There's a problem. There's a glitch. So I just called the people from the production to give me the ending, so I could tell everybody in the house how it ended. And they were like, that is the ending. And immediately I was like, that's genius. There was no. I didn't even think for a minute that it wasn't. I was like, because if they would have killed him, they would have been pissed. The whole world would have been pissed. And if they would have let him live, the whole world would have been pissed. But there were still haters back then. And they would have been flexing their hate either way. So this way it was some abstract ending, and it was the best water cooler moment of all time, because that show was known for sitting around the water cooler and talking about it.
Yeah, it was, in hindsight, watching the entire series numerous times and picking it apart and going over it, it really is the only way that could have ended. And oddly enough, with satisfying everybody, like you just put it, you know, you'd think everyone was unsatisfied without a nice bow tied around it, but it just, it was perfect. That was the perfect way to end that run. Just amazing.
I think he said that he dies. I think David Chase, in his mind, that was his ending, but I don't really know if that's even true, because I haven't seen those interviews.
Yeah, I don't even go over it with people, because it's, you know, it wasn't written that way, and everything was written. So people go, well, what would you think if they were real people? It's like, yeah, they weren't. It's kind of silly to think. I saw you on Robert and Jamie Lynn's show, their podcast.
I always say the wrong thing on that one.
No, it's awesome. I think they are so cool. It's so amazing that they are really best of friends. And it's like some kind of weird comfort thing for fans of the show. It's like, oh, they hang out even off of their podcast. They have lives together. They're very dear friends with each other.
They're brother and sister. Like, they really are brother and sister. He's always there at her house. He moved to where she's living, a whole other state. You know what I mean? Like,
it's so
they adore
cool.
each other. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is like, it's almost like the sequel, you know, like the brother and sister got out there and they're doing stuff.
Aircraft carrier
And the way he is with her when she, you know, I was behind them at an autograph signing, and she was having a hard time walking, and the way he just sort of props her up and just makes sure that she's okay. It's really beautiful. It makes me cry.
Yeah, they love each other like brother and sister. It's awesome. It really is. You obviously have a political take that isn't quite what Hollywood likes or goes by or hires people with. Do you feel you've lost work because of your political ideology?
Well, I mean, I know that I kind of just removed myself right at the head of the pandemic when I knew I wasn't going to get vaccinated. So I knew that was going to be either debanking, you know, it would be a blacklist situation. I saw that coming from a mile away. So, yeah, I got dropped by everybody. I held out to see if something would change, but no, you know, the agency dropped me without a phone call. It's just all that kind of wicked Hollywood BS. But, so yeah, and it wasn't like I was working like crazy. You know, the particular people would find me and want me to do their show. So that was where I always sort of maneuvered. It was never... You know, I wasn't a real career actor. I just did it when I had to. Like, whenever I needed a paycheck is when I would go for it. But then when all of a sudden knowing that wasn't going to be the case, like I couldn't just snap my fingers and say, okay, I'm ready to do a little something to pay the bills, and knowing that I could no longer do it, that was a really rude awakening.
Well, obviously, entertainment, it's all ebbs and flows. You're working, then you're not, and you wonder if you'll ever work again. But when you're being blackballed or blacklisted because of your ideology or affiliation or guilt by association, whatever it is, you kind of know it.
I heard one actor who's one of the prominent conservatives out there, and I'm still a crazy liberal. It's just that I just don't believe in BS. I believe in the truth. The truth was just leaning to the right for a minute, so they tagged me, as whatever, because everybody has to have a damn pronoun these days. And my pronoun is just we the people and get off the back. It's not, it's not red or blue or any of this, BS. But
the vaccine thing was big. That was a big turning point with a lot of people. I didn't take it.
Yeah.
I lied about it. I used a fake thing to get into places, and
me too.
I just was not going to do that.
Hold the course.
My daughter, when I realized I was going to lose my house, because that's really where it went. When I realized things were getting that bad, I said, babe, I got to take a job. She's like, I don't want you to use that card, though, for the job. It's one thing for a restaurant. It's one thing to get us into a restaurant or a theater thing or something, but to go work and really live right now, like, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get caught. She's like, you don't know how to lie. And I was like, you're right. I don't know how to lie, and I wouldn't have felt good about it. So I just didn't do it. So I basically just removed myself. So I don't really know if I would have gotten a job or not. I just I did have to say no to a lot of little things that came up that could have kept us afloat. It really just pushed me into, it was like being under so much pressure that I had to make moves that I never thought I would make. And I made some wild moves, man. And in those wild moves, I ended up becoming like the voice of, one, like the 0th percentile of Hollywood that would actually speak out against it. Aside from comedians are trailblazers. They always were. They always will be. They speak the truth. I don't know.
Some of them are jerk offs too.
They all be jerk offs, but at least they're. But maybe they were the only ones that were,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't know if I'm trying so hard not to curse because I don't know if I'm on the radio right now.
I know, it's crazy, right? I was doing podcasts for 10 years, and I say F is every other word out of my mouth in my normal life. So radio is kind of a weird thing for me, too. But, I get that. The whole time where they were forcing people to get vaccinated to just live their lives and work, I was so lucky because I was running my own business, podcasting business at the time, so I didn't have a boss or anyone to tell me I needed to take that shot to earn a living. And for people like you to have to do that, that was I think the most tyrannical I've ever seen this country.
Same. It was a game changer. And once you kind of see it at that level and really, take it in, you can't unsee that. And I think that's what changed me completely. And then all of a sudden, I'm just out there talking about this stuff, I never even felt like, I never did that much prep for any shows I was on. And now here I am on the news every day. I was like the go-to for Fox to bash on celebrities and talking about politics. I'm like, how did I ever end up here? I didn't even pay attention in history class. And here I am now knowing everything about the history between Ukraine and Russia, or just, I don't know, Mao Zedong. Like, all of a sudden, I am so immersed into the history. I'm on aliens at this point, because I'm like, what else can I find out?
Yeah, I know.
We've been lied to.
Yeah, I've been taking a few calls tonight on conspiracies and whatnot, and boy, I used to be so believing and trusting in the government and everything. I would argue with people like, no, they wouldn't do that, and now I feel like an idiot because it's just been proven that, God, we're lied to constantly.
Yeah, I trusted the liberal government. I trusted the Democrats. I was like, get the Bushes out of here. Meanwhile, once you have Liz Cheney and all of them, I was like, Jesus, wow. And no one is noticing what's going on here. The level of total force happening. Like, I just couldn't believe it. So now this is my life. I don't even have interest in acting anymore. I don't even want to make believe anymore. Like, I feel like things are so dire and crucial, but not like in a scary way. I feel like it's time for there to be a grand awakening, and I don't mean woke. I mean like
just
awake
open your
and
eyes.
just.
It's
It's pretty magical.
The Matrix gets more realistic every time you.
I know,
watch
man,
it,
and it's a trip, and it's interesting. And people are afraid because they're afraid of what's happening, and I'm like, don't be afraid, man. Like, just open up to it and kind of ease into it and try to evolve through it a little bit, because I think that's what the message is, really.
Yeah. You still doing OnlyFans, because that got a lot of heat.
Well, that's what pressurized me into areas where I was like, holy cow, I would never get naked on television.
Right.
Ever. I had a no nudity clause, and now I'm on a site that is, a pornographic site. I mean, my page is a fan page. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Adriana Service fan page. I never put a picture of myself on Instagram in a bikini back when I, started social media. Everyone else does. These girls, all these actresses. I've never seen more selfies and more self-adulation in my life. I was like, wait a minute, I can make money posting pictures like all of these sort of starlets and old-timers like J-Lo and everybody. I'm like, but I can just do this and get paid for it. And Adriana's just
Yeah. Well, Dre, all we had was screenshots from the tennis court, or the leopard dress, or when you picked up Christopher when he was in the neck brace, or
and now that's me every day. I'm OnlyFans in my underwear. Some old lady, it's granny porn.
Oh, please. I love it. Dre, thanks so much for popping on and talking with me, man. I'm a huge fan. Appreciate what you do, and we need more people that are open-minded and willing to speak out like you.
Don't forget to promote my brand, Ultra Free, because that's really what we're doing.
Do it up. Give it a big plug.
Free speech. It's kind of funny, and it's all about freedom and we the people. It takes no sides, not liberal, not conservative, and it's really just about getting back to just feeling free again. And it's called Ultra Free, and you can find it on I'm shadow banned on Instagram, so it'll be awesome to click through it. And then on Twitter, we're on Twitter and Instagram. Ultrafree.co is the website. And we make cool gun necklaces and t-shirts and hats and all that sort of stuff.
Cool. Very nice.
Bring rock and roll back.
Yep, bring rock and roll back. Bring movies and TV back. Thanks so much, Dre. I appreciate
thanks for having me.
You coming on with me, man. Be well.
Thanks for having me.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Love it. We'll be right back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Fake news coming up next. We're all just young boys at heart, aren't we? Talk to a girl like that, and you're just, you get a little giddy.
She knows me.